Welcome back to the Fantasy Endgame. I'm Pierre, here to help you with waiver wire pickups for fantasy baseball now in the first week of September. That's right, that means the season is soon coming to an end. Some of you in H2H leagues might already have started the postseason, and so you need that critical pickup maybe to get you through the first round or two of the playoffs. Since it's September, not surprising, a lot of these recommendations are going to be prospects. And let's start with the big one. Of course, slipped in just after last week's video, but you might have heard Gunnar Henderson of the Baltimore Orioles is a guy that is now on the scene. He jumped on the scene right away by hitting a home run in his very first game. So look, I get it. He might not be available in some of your more competitive leagues, but he's only 57% rostered across Yahoo. That means in some leagues, especially if you're in a 10-team or even an 8-team league, he could still be out there. So I would say jump on it if you can. And this is a guy who's been in the everyday lineup, usually hitting 5th most days. That's pretty good considering, remember, the Orioles are not bad this year. They're actually a decent team, looking for a chance to maybe make the postseason themselves. And we'll see. But look, this is a decent offense, and he's got a good spot on it. He's kind of playing all around the infield, second, third, short, usually a shortstop by trade. But look, if he can get eligibility at multiple positions, that makes him even more enticing. All right, so if you remember Vaughn Grissom of the Braves about a month ago, this is that same type of prospect, and you want to grab him if he's out there. Now, Triston Casas of the Red Sox is a name that has been a little bit more well-known, mainly because he's in the Boston system, and we've been waiting for a while for him to come up, and now it's happening. We'll see how he adapts. It seems like there's going to be no limitations on him. Alex Cora, manager, saying he's pretty much going to be in there every day, even if it's a lefty or righty, it doesn't matter. He's not going to be just a platoon player. So we know the Red Sox, obviously a disappointing year for them, and they've kind of struggled to find consistency, including at first base. And so why not give the guy a shot? All right, so you know what the deal is with these rookies, tremendous upside, but also some players just might not be ready. So don't be surprised if he hits a few homers out the gate, and don't be surprised if he has a few offers. It could go either way. All right, so Casas is a guy who can help pretty much in every category other than steals. Of course, he's kind of a big, bulky power hitter by trade. Thing is, he has great plate discipline, so you don't have to worry about him kind of being, the next Bobby Dahlbeck. Similar, but he's got a much more discerning eye. He has a walk rate above 14% throughout his minor league career. He has great plate discipline. Think of him more kind of like a young Carlos Santana. If you can remember that far back when he was first coming up, he does have that power, but also isn't just a slugger who's going to strike out a ton. He's not going to tank your average, most likely. So I really think Casas is worth adding in most leagues where he's still out there. And then from the Red Sox to the Yankees, a much different type of prospect. Let's talk about Oswald Peraza. So this is a very light hitting middle infielder, a guy who weighs 176 pounds, compared to Casas, who's up there in the 230s, 240s. But you know what? He's shown just as much pop, surprisingly. This is a guy who was thought to be more speed first, glove first, your prototypical middle infielder. But he's got 19 home runs at the AAA level this year already. So maybe growing into some surprising power. And obviously being in New York, Yankee Stadium, with that lineup, he's going to have every opportunity to see fastballs down the pipe. Now, he's probably going to hit at the bottom of the order most days. And look, so far, it hasn't been, a great start for him. His first 2 games went 0 for 3, I believe, both of those games. But look, this is a guy who's got tremendous upside. Like I said, there's always going to be that risk reward that you're going to have to balance out. It's definitely worth at least stashing him to see what happens, because if he catches fire, especially you can slot him in at the middle infield spot, it's going to be worth it. All right, then here's a rookie who has been around for a little while, about a few weeks, and Bubba Thompson isn't going to be one of your high-end prospects, but look, he's been solid. That Texas Ranger offense has been better in the second half. Bubba's got a pretty much everyday path to playing time, and what he's doing is stealing bases. All right, so just in the past month, got 9 steals and 5 steals in the last 2 weeks alone, along with a 294 average. The power is going to be modest, not going to score a ton of runs or drive in a ton of runs, but you need speed, without hurting your average. Take Bubba for a spin and see what happens. And then we got to throw at least one veteran in there. So let's go back and circle to Joc Pederson. Remember him? He was ripping the cover off the ball the first couple of months of the year, looking like an MVP candidate. Well, he slowed down, not surprisingly, and was really struggling going into the All-Star break, but he's come out of it, reinvigorated, I guess. He's on a tear. He's hitting 317 in the second half, and just this past week alone, 3 homers and 13 RBIs. That'll do. So look, I get it. He's not available everywhere. 52% rostered right now in Yahoo leagues. He was dropped in quite a bit of leagues, as you can see. So check if he's out there. If he is, there's no excuse for him to still be out there. All right, so go ahead and check right now. If he's there, make a claim for him. He should be your first priority. If not, then I go back to Henderson and then Casas in that order. All right, now on the pitching front, not going to lie, it's pretty thin. It's hard to find a guy that you can really trust in your rotation these days. But let's talk about Roansy Contreras of the Pirates. You remember, talked about him a couple of months ago, an exciting young pitcher for the Pirates, and he looked good, and then he looked bad and really bad. Guy who walking a lot of batters, got hit hard a few times. If you look on the season, his season-long stats might scare you away. His hard hit percentage, his barrel rate, his expected slugging are all near the very bottom of the league, bottom 10 percentile or worse. But look, since the All-Star break, he's come back pretty strong. This happens a lot of time with young pitchers. They kind of have to figure things out, make adjustments. He's done that. In his 4 starts in the second half, a 2.63 ERA and a 1.17 whip. All right, now, being that he plays for Pittsburgh, don't expect wins, right? It's barely going to happen. He's going to have to earn it if he does get a win. But look, if you're in a quality start league, that makes him a little bit more valuable, but even so, this is a guy who's got tremendous talent, will definitely strike some batters out, and those ratios are looking pretty good, all right? They're going to be ups and downs still, but so far, so good in the second half. Another interesting name, I can't give too much of a ringing endorsement for it, but keep your eye on Luis Patino. This is somebody for the Tampa Bay Rays, super high-end prospect. He just has been held back by injuries, lots of injuries, all right? And so he's barely pitched this year, and we haven't really seen what he's capable of. He's got the fastball back up to 95 miles per hour. He's capable of better. He's really probably better suited for the bullpen just because he's mainly a 2-pitch guy. He has that fastball and that slider. I know they're kind of retooling. That's what Tampa Bay does, right? They make good pitchers, right? They don't just get good pitchers. But we'll see if it comes along. Look, he just went today 5 innings, gave up 3 runs. The thing is, he's not striking out a lot of batters. He only had, I think, 4 strikeouts and 3 walks in this outing. His strikeout rate is pretty low, but again, the sample is so small because he's barely pitched. We'll see if he comes along. There's not a lot of time left, so I wouldn't say that you should put him in your lineup. But look, this is somebody who obviously has the arm talent. If things kind of come together in the next week or so, at the very least, if you're in a keeper league or, the dynasty league and he's out there, definitely grab him now. And then you need a potential closer. Remember Jose Leclerc from the Texas Rangers? Well, he's back. Also a guy who's missed a lot of time due to injuries, elbow surgery. That'll do it for you. Not too shocking. He had to knock some rust off there and got knocked around. And so that makes his numbers look pretty bad. 3.19 ERA isn't terrible. But if you look just since the All-Star break, a 1.96 ERA in 23 innings pitched. And more importantly, in the last couple of weeks, he's got a couple of saves. So remember, it looked like Brett Martin was a guy who was coming along to be this closer there in Texas. And now it looks like Leclerc might get his job back. All right. It's not guaranteed, but this is a guy who has that closing experience. He was their guy in 2019 and 20, and it's just health that has held him back. So if he is back to form and he is in the 9th inning closing games out, he's got value in roto leagues. And finally, I just have to throw this out there. If Jack Flaherty is floating around on waivers, go ahead and grab him now. Still available in 30% of leagues. Most people just stashed him. Some people got impatient, either didn't have enough IL spots or just didn't want to keep a guy who's hurt all season long. But he finally just today got recalled and made a start. And he went 5 innings, which is pretty good to see. Not being held back too much. He only gave up 1 run and 6 hits. We know what he can do. He's a guy who has a 3.38 career ERA, 1.09 whip, and a 28% strikeout rate. He can get batters out. Look, he's looking like an upcoming ace a couple of years ago, and then, of course, had a down season and then injuries. If he's really back and ready to go, and it looks like he is, definitely somebody who should be on fantasy squads. So go ahead and do a quick check out there to see if he is available in any of your leagues. All right, that does it for this edition of Waiver Wire Picks for Fantasy Baseball. We'll be with you to the end, try to help you win those leagues. That is our end game. And of course, if you play fantasy football, you should be checking us out as the season is underway. We're doing live start sit show on Saturday, every Saturday. We have so much content. Join our Discord. We do have a fantasy baseball channel. Information is in the description below.